Am I able to start? Okay.
Good.
We're good to go. Hi, everybody. My name is Kathy Reinstein, and I am the chair of the subcommittee of our Human Rights Commission, the Subcommittee on Cultural Holidays and Celebrations. This is our first subcommittee meeting. At first, I'll say, in general, the subcommittee is tasked to research and determine which cultural holidays and celebrations need to be acknowledged through the year, decide if and how the city calendar could be a means of increasing awareness, make recommendations when the city might consider displaying flags, banners, and other forms of recognition, act as a resource to community members and groups to propose and discuss cultural celebrations at the city that the city could honor. So I would like to call the meeting to order. I don't know if I need a second for that. I don't think I do. And I would just like to call a roll. I know Lynn Alexis was unable to join us today, as was Jalon Fowler. Dr. Garcia is here. Our vice chair of the Human Rights Commission, Shay Hosani, is unable to join us. Chair Mara Grillo-Mara is here. Thank you for joining us. And Karu Pitch is here. Am I missing anything? We all good to go? Okay. So when this subcommittee was formed, Chair Mara asked us to consider that we first discuss, because the committee of a whole, the whole committee of the Human Rights Commission meets monthly, and our next meeting is at the beginning of March. She asked that we first take up the idea of discussing International Women's Day, because that holiday, I believe, is on March 8th, and we'll be meeting before that. So I didn't know if anyone had any ideas or thoughts of what we could do to recommend to the committee as a whole for honoring International Women's Day. Yeah.
Kathy, can city councilor make a proclamation or adopt it? I don't know how it works, but usually, like one of the councilor will put a proposal together, and then the councilor will vote on it to honor the date. I'm not sure if we have to go through that, or the commission can just decide it that,
Yeah,
International Women's Day going forward is on this day for the city to celebrate.
Sure. That's a great question. I don't believe we have to go through the city council. I think we as a commission can make recommendations to the city, but we could also reach out to a member of the council and ask that they do a proclamation honoring International Women's Day. And I'm sure we could find some things online that other communities, I'm sure, have done to look like that. And we could, I'm more than happy to work through the council with that if anyone's interested in that. But we don't have to go through them to get approval to honor it. I believe we would just make recommendations, and then those recommendations would be passed on to the mayor. Am I correct?
Yes, so our recommendations would be passed on to the mayor. In general, when we have more time, it might be good protocol to, have the city council approve things, just so that we're all working collaboratively. But we make the request to the mayor's office. And if it was something that he felt we really needed to get the council approval, then, the mayor could decide that.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea going forward, but I know I'm kind of jumping into this subject because I know we want to probably get something settled that we can recommend to the committee of a whole, so we can hopefully get something that is honoring this day to the city in time, right? Does anyone have any suggestions? I know, and with Black History Month, I believe there was a banner, and then I think there were things on the city calendar, right? I don't know if the school department was doing anything. I don't know. Am I missing anything?
Looks like Dr. Garcia is trying to speak.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I was wondering I don't know if this is doable, but it would be great if the city councilors could put a list of minorities, women that have accomplished some things in the city together, and to recommend to actually to acknowledge their accomplishment for, in the city. It could be something, a businesswoman. It could be, people like, I'm not suggesting any names, not to bias the whole thing, but we have, for example, um, Fatu that is running the community school. Look at the number of immigrant parents that have attended that school and have attended ESL classes, have graduated from that school. There are many other women in the city that could be recommended. I mean, acknowledge and celebrate their accomplishment in the city. That would be a great way to provide some incentive, and others in healthcare. And I don't know how many, but it would be great not to let that day by, unnoticed. We could come up probably with a banner as well that we could put, we can hang out there in the city hall. But I think having maybe some recognitions and acknowledgement, it would be a good start, and maybe preceded by it could be by a movie, a video on how this day became important, and that basically talks about the sacrifices, and that many women have gone through in this country, internationally, and things like that. Maybe short video to see, and then if we can come up with a list of 3 or 4 people that really have distinguished themselves in the city, that have really support the community, that could be a great way to start the celebration. And just an idea.
Dr. Garcia, I love that idea. I'm just concerned that we don't have the time to do it
Right.
for this year. I think that is an awesome idea. That's a little creative, that is very personal in the sense it's bringing it into the community. Like you said, recognition, video. I just don't think we have the time if we have to bring this to the full commission on March 4th. Because we can't really approach anyone or do any kind of preparations until after March 4th. And then then it's like Monday is that day. Unless someone has a creative way to work around the timing.
So, yeah, I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead, Karu, I'm sorry.
No. I do like the idea a lot, and I know it's the timeline. And if we can just, I like the banner to put on at the city hall, and even if we can identify a few women, we don't have to go in through like the video, but we can probably kind of display them, right? It's like the acknowledgement, it's just their picture at the city hall. That would be good. And I mean, maybe next year we can be more thoughtful about it, but this year we can just, I like the idea of kind of setting up the precedent of like, okay, have the banner, and then acknowledging a few women from the city. We can just, have their picture and display.
So
If
let
they
me,
feel,
yeah.
if they feel like it's safe for them, it's good for them. And then for next year, I would love to have it. It's not just like implemented. This, like where I grew up, International Women's Day, it's like national, right? And it happened in school and it happened everywhere. And I would love to have that acknowledged citywide, it's like, and being recognized as well. And then maybe we can do something like that next year.
So how would we, if we were to make an acknowledgement of some people, how would we go about doing that so that it feels fair in the process of selecting people, where I'm just concerned, I wouldn't want someone to feel like they were excluded or they weren't considered, because we're not really stating the process of how we're going about this.
So, I mean, I guess my thought is we've got a couple of different conversations, right? So I love the idea of honoring, and Karu, to your point too. I mean, we're looking at International Women's Day, but it's also Women's History Month, right? And you could even down the road, this and other different holidays, even work with the Revere Historical Society to see like who are women from Revere or what, to kind of honor that. But I think really, unfortunately, because of our time is limited, we maybe need to concentrate on, let's recommend a banner. Let's see if there's maybe a video or something that we could link to our page in the city that is just an overview video about what International Women's Day is. And then maybe start from there and, and then go, because I agree. I mean, I think, Fatou is a great idea. She's amazing. And there's many amazing women across Revere. So I feel that, the last thing we're trying to do here is offend or, or exclude someone. I mean, that's the exact antithesis of this. So I think maybe do we just be somewhat generic and say, let's think about what the banner can look like. Just saying, celebrating, women in Revere, maybe whatever the colors are, like take a look at what other things are, and then have that as a whole to kind of present. I mean, it's really kind of such a very small part of really what we need to do is, going forward. But, like you said, Chair, because of the interest of time, you won't have the time to do it. But I think the ideas are great. But I mean, if we can link a video that explains what this is, so we can start educating people on why this holiday is so important. And Karu, to your point, why it's so important all over the world would be amazing, right? I mean, to be able to, I'm sure we could find something to link and then maybe do a banner, I guess.
So, yeah. I see your points, and I think your points is well taken. I think probably that would be the right way to go about this year. Just to start small. A video. We could find videos in different languages, though, narrated in different languages. We could find a video in in English, another one probably in Spanish, another one in Arabic or Portuguese. Maybe you have 4 videos there that describes and talks about the history of this day and how this day came about. Have that video there, and maybe we can. So the video, part of me says that probably the idea of although I really I would love to have that done, to have a number of women recognized in the city, but I acknowledge also that time is an issue. It could be an issue. What we could do for next year would be to probably come up with a rubric that really delineates the expectations, what we're looking for, and then also come up with something that talks about the selection process, how it's done, who's going to pick those women, who's the jury. I mean, not really the jury, but who is going to the input from the community or maybe a group of selected, members, just to recommend, and then it's more sound. One thing that we have to keep in mind, although March 8th is the Women International Day, we don't have to celebrate just that day. We could really map out for 2 weeks and have it, or maybe 1 week, and do a full range celebration. So pretty much like we're doing for the Black, History Month.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a great idea. So Okay, so I think we are gonna have a lot of work to plan this out for our future, and I really look forward to working with you on that. But for now, maybe we take a quick raise of hands or vote. I want to make sure that I'm getting it correctly, that we are going to recommend to the committee as a whole that we do a banner acknowledging International Women's Day, and that we see if Ruben can maybe assist us with seeing if there's some video that we can link to the city's website, to the Human Rights Commission website, that people can learn a little bit about it. And that's kind of where we're going to stay with that, right? Yes.
And we could also, the mayor had mentioned this when I met with him the other day. He was very excited about this subcommittee and that we can begin to plan these things in advance and instead of catching up. But he also said Revere TV can be a resource so that, you know, it's not just banners or flags, or Dr. Garcia's idea is really creative and wonderful. But, you know, maybe if we have certain videos, we could see if Revere TV might play them, even if it's for Women's History Month. That we might come in a little bit late, but we can utilize them to play some kind of videos there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that idea. You could probably use 1 week, you do it in English. You got 4 weeks in a month. You do 1 week in English, 1 week in Spanish, 1 week in, or you can every 2 days you do in one language. You could do that way too. So I think all these ideas are wonderful.
I have a question. Does anyone know if you could, is there a capability technically that if someone is looking at a video that you could click, I want to watch this in a certain language? You know how like when you're online, you could read a document in different languages. Is there a capability that we could select one video, but someone could just push a button, or does that not exist?
I have not seen technology evolves. We can certainly look into that, but I have not seen that yet. I'm sure that something might exist, but I don't know. Ruben, I don't know if Ruben knows. I don't know.
I haven't heard of anything quite like that. We can post multiple videos in different languages in one page, but I don't think I can have like a button that allows you to pick a different language just from clicking on it. Yeah.
Or even sometimes if there's something that's subtitled, but they're already subtitled, correct? So, all right, that's great. Okay, so if everyone's okay, can we move on to the next thing that we have on the agenda?
Do you need me to initiate a motion on that, Kathy?
Yes, thank you.
So I will put forth a motion that we recommend a banner, and as well as have some videos on both the HRC page and possibly Revere TV, and those would be available in different languages.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Awesome. Okay, second. I'm just taking the notes. Okay. Thank you both for doing that, and Janine, also thank you for reminding us about the great tool we have in Revere TV too. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm actually, so the next thing is begin discussions to develop a calendar and make recommendations to the City of Revere's calendar regarding cultural holidays and celebrations. This is including outreach to various city and school departments, as well as local cultural and religious organizations. I think I'm also going to fold into that, because we're going to be discussing the calendar. We're very lucky to have the help of Ruben here too. And so, you know, I'm maybe hoping that, Ruben, if you don't mind, if I could put you on the spot and we could have you explain first, you know, how the city calendar works right now.
I can do a screen share and show you what we have put together. So this is the Human Rights Commission page. At the very bottom of the Human Rights Commission page, we've added a community celebrations calendar. So I added Black History Month, which starts on February 1. And on March 1, we have Women's History Month. And then just because Dr. Garcia sent over that sample calendar, I figured I'd add one event for February 20th for right now, the World Day of Social Justice. So anyone can come along and propose an event. So once you've put this in, they would ideally select the calendar they're asking for it to be on would be the community celebrations. And then this information, once it is submitted, it would actually go to Ashley, and Ashley would have the ultimate determination as to whether to approve or reject that. And that's the process, by the way, for any of these types of events. Anyone can request to add an event. Ashley is the ultimate arbiter of which things qualify for the city website or not. So, you know, it would just be a matter here of once she gets a community celebration calendar request, of determining whether it, of asking you guys, I suppose, you know, you guys would want to come up with a process for her to refer those requests to her, and then she would ultimately be able to decide be able to approve it or not. Just as additional context, the calendar is on there's a calendar page, it's also on the home page. Any event that appears in the Human Rights Commission filter, so the community celebrations filter, would appear on all on the main calendar page, which has all the events with all the filters. So those things would appear here. So that is where we're at. I think it's a pretty easy to use tool, and certainly anything that the commission wanted to add on, I would just be able to go on and add those on myself in the back end without having to get Ashley's approval if the commission so desired.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Ruben. And also, thank you, Dr. Garcia, for sharing that document with all of the subcommittee members of what you found with some of the different various holidays. I think that's a great starting point so that we can get a sense of this going forward. And I think, you know, part of this conversation too would be, you know, we have to develop probably a process of, I think the way Ruben is saying it is perfect. And, you know, maybe just figure out a way that we are going to work alongside Clerk Melnick so that she can, you know like, or, you know, who a contact person would be to kind of get the approval of making sure that the right things are going on the community calendar. And to like making sure that there is a way that the public can either do it themselves, or we know that they can reach out to us via the website, right? In case they're missing anything. Because the goal here is to get as many, if all, that all of the different cultural events and celebrations and important dates that we can for the people in our community. I'm trying to think what else. So I guess I'm trying to think. I just totally lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
This also,
Kathy, so we're talking about the Cultural Awareness Month, right? I'm also thinking about other awareness month as well. It's like, you know, it's like National Autism Awareness Month, or Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Stalking Awareness Month, Sexual Assault Teen Dating Awareness Month. Like February is a National Teen Dating Awareness Month. You know, those kind of separate from cultural, but also I think it's a good awareness that we can promote at the city. So for the cultural one, also I look at Dr. Garcia's list. There's a lot of information there. That's great. I also want to add like a couple more, like Cambodian New Year, which is April 14th of this year, and also the South Asian Indian New Year. The Diwali is November 4th as well.
November 4th, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I it was so funny. I was Googling this weekend looking at some different things, and I don't know where I got, but there was one of the lists I came across was like different. It must have been more of a religious. It was all different saints' days from all over the world, and I was like, wow, there was I think we're gonna have something every day. Which
Right.
is great.
Did I
Yes,
is
see
great.
this? Oh, sorry.
Karu, were you done? I want to make sure
I
you
was gonna ask,
Karu.
did we see like the Three Kings Day too, like January 6th?
1/6, that's right, is Three Kings. I think maybe what we should do going forward is maybe, I'll have to ask Ruben this, even though I already asked him and I think I know the answer, but I know anything that we're doing is public, but making sure that we have, if there's any, I think this is the way to do it, is just either to make a note here or add it or send an email to Ruben to say, I haven't seen this one. Can we do it? And then maybe taking some of what Dr. Garcia gave, sharing it, adding some other things, and whoever else sees anything needs to be added, right? Ruben, we can do that, right? Public meeting wise?
I think, yeah, I think I need to understand the process a little bit better, but I think that should be fine. I think so.
Okay.
Just a question, Jane,
me?
Yes.
are you,
Do you want to go? I'll wait. It doesn't matter.
no, you go first. Yeah.
All right. So, two things. One is, I love the idea of this and implementing this. One of like I'm just looking at all the angles here, and so first of all, this is a lot of information on the city calendar, and it makes me thank you, Dr. Garcia, for forwarding this link. And now we're talking about this Tibetan New Year. I mean, there's so many, and I'm just wondering, is the city calendar the best place? On one hand, I feel like absolutely, because it really gets it out there. But then if you leave, then on another hand, I feel like, would it be better for the HRC page to have a link to the one that Dr. Garcia gave us, or a link to Karu or anybody, the Saints calendar that you found, Kathy, or the cultural awareness? First of all, then we're not the ones that are maintaining those sites or taking any ownership over. We feel that this is important, we're including this, but we're not including that. So it's just something that I'm not saying I feel strongly one way or another. It's just something I'm considering. And second is, I'd love to see the 4 nature holidays be included. Spring equinox, summer solstice, fall equinox, winter solstice, because they have indigenous roots in their celebration, and they're cross-cultural. We all celebrate the changing of the seasons. So that was the other piece. And like I said, on the first part with the calendar, I'm just bringing that up for thought and consideration. I'm not saying that I'm voting it should be on the city calendar or it should not.
So sorry, Mr. Garcia, Dr. Garcia, before we go to you. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding it correctly. So I see your point too, because when you have a city calendar on top of cultural and holidays and celebrations, we have actual things for city operations, such as holidays, if there's, trash pickup changes due to a holiday, things like that, that people are checking. Is there a concern that there could be too much and have it be a little too confusing? So I guess my question is, and I agree, I'm not making a decision, but it's very important that these things exist. Can we have a separate calendar? Does it turn into too much confusion and too much work? And I guess again, I'm throwing Ruben into this one, because I think it's amazing how everything's linking. So that could be more of an issue if you now had to unlink and hand do that, right? That'd be a lot more work.
I mean, I don't think it's a lot of work to put up the community calendar. That part is pretty easy. To Janine's point, whether or not it clutters up the main calendar is a reasonable point, and I could talk to our web developer about creating an entirely separate community celebrations calendar that doesn't overlap. Although I do think that there's a great educational aspect that you would be able to get if everyone had those dates. The other point that Janine is making, which is not really in my purview but in yours, is just if you get 100 requests a year, how are you deciding what to do with that? And that's a problem that, maybe we're coming up with a problem that doesn't exist, or maybe we're anticipating something that could come up. But obviously, staying within the mission that you guys have written up as to the organization will be part of your discussion.
So obviously we don't need to decide this today. And maybe though, this is something we can share with the committee as a whole. And talk about, these are the kind of here's the fork in the road. And I mean, Ruben, I think you make a phenomenal point about saying it is really great from a cultural perspective for people to just be able to see all these things, because you can say, well, what is this? Let me Google it. And that's part of the point of this commission and everything, is to raise awareness and curiosity about acceptance of all the different backgrounds that people have in this community, right? So, but, Janine, it's a great point about it maybe getting a little too confusing, right? But, I don't think any of us want to be the people that are picking and choosing,
That's why it's a tough one, because it is really important to, however we can spread awareness. And that's a simple way that people go to check trash or city council meeting, but they see it. Yet, at the same time,
right.
Will there be any potential, issues that arise from it? But I know, Dr. Garcia, you had been waiting to
Yes, sorry, Dr. Garcia, I apologize.
This is all great suggestions. I wonder, based on what everyone just said, I wonder if we could create a cultural heritage web page, just for that matter. There we could potentially, for example, I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say that we're celebrating a particular Islamic holiday, so you could probably set up a video image on a background showing that culture, people probably dancing or doing all kind of stuff. It would be such a powerful thing. And the section on the history of that particular whatever we're celebrating, and then you have videos of it would be such a powerful thing. It would be dedicated to that. It's let's say you're celebrating the Black History Month. You would have videos there, people dancing, maybe playing something. It would be such a powerful thing, rather than you can still have it on the Revere website. But I think if you create one, it would send a strong message that we really appreciating diversity and culture in our city. And it really, I think it transmits a stronger message. I think in the visualization of it would be just incredible.
So you're saying the separate web page and the cultural awareness calendar would be on that web page, but it would also be elaborated by different videos or other resource material. Is that correct?
Right. Since we talk about celebration, you want to create something that really celebrates, that really transmits that sentiment. When people go there, you don't see a lot of things, a lot of all important information. But sometimes for some people, it could be distraction, because you're talking about celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. When I, as a Latino Hispanic, I'm not Latino Hispanic, but as a Latino Hispanic person, when I go there, I want to see rumba. I want to see people, playing, guitar, drum, all kind of stuff. And then you want to also read a particular, you also want to read the history behind that, and make that page colorful. That really transmits the sentiment of culture. I think it would be such a powerful thing. Just
I like that idea a lot. And I'm also thinking, I know we don't have to make decision on the city calendar. It depends how busy, it's like that month, how many awareness or celebration we having. What we can also do, I mean, on the city calendar, let's say Black History Month, whichever date, you click on that, and then we'll send you to this page, right, with all the information.
Yeah.
And it's still visible on that calendar, and then you just have to click on it, and then it will bring you to that page. Whatever site Dr. Garcia was saying. I like that a lot, and not just, you know, acknowledging the celebration, but also sharing the information about the celebration that people can also learn.
So you're saying to maybe be able to click right from the calendar. If someone says, well,
Right.
you know, what is Diwali? I don't know what it is.
Right.
And you can click
Right.
on it, and it'll maybe send you to, you know, a link that we have somewhere else that might send you to the cultural page for, you know,
Mhm.
that part of the world, right? So something like that.
I have to say that
Yeah.
there is a description here that people can add information into, so including links and other things. So that is available.
That's wonderful.
But that's a lot of, I would imagine that, and Kathy, what I heard Dr. Garcia said, and let's clarify this, the same way we have the HRC webpage, there would be, whether it's a sub page from that or another page, that would be a cultural heritage page or cultural celebration or awareness page, right? That would be part of the city website, not necessarily that they'd click on something that would take them to an external link. From that city's cultural page, there might be links to outside pages. Is that correct, Dr. Garcia?
That's it. That's what I would like, I would like to have, because it really, you know, I think it really, if you have that page, it shows really that we are authentic about things. It really transmits the true sentiment of the mayor's office, that we really, you know, are taking this seriously, and we are really celebrating all cultures, because, and it really, you know, I think a separate web page just on culture, heritage, and things like that, I think it will be such a powerful thing. You can still run something concurrently, as you know, what Ruben just presented to us. That's still important, because the city wants to show that also is there. But having this page separately, you can have students actually working on it, come up with their own ideas. Kids have so many ideas about putting these things together, and it would be such a, you know, powerful thing. Maybe even you talk about celebrating, let's say that the Cambodian culture, you may, you know, show the country, where the country is located, you know, how they came from, these and that. So there's so many things you can do, and kids can do. You can give this project to a senior or junior that can certainly help out with this, and there are members in the community also that can help. It can be very creative.
I just have a quick question for Ruben. It seems to me like it would be, even though it would be wonderful, it seems like it would be a lot of work to have on the city calendar, for you to have to put in the description comments area a link to the heritage pay. If this idea proceeds and we had a cultural heritage page, it seems like for you to have to add that to every one of those events that's on the city calendar, that link to the cultural heritage page, wouldn't that be a lot of work, or no?
I don't think it'd be a lot of work to add a single link. I mean, it's really going to depend on the context. Again, if we get 100 events a year, then there's going to be a lot more work than if it's, you know, if it's 30, right? I mean, it's but it might be, yeah, I mean, just adding a new link into the back end on the system for me or for Clerk Melnick or for any of a number of people who have access to that, I don't think would be a lot. It would be a heavy lift.
I just want to be practical. When I go to the site, like the city, just on my own, my kid, I'm just going to the calendar and look at that calendar, what's going on. I don't necessarily like explore the whole information unless I have specific stuff that I'm looking for. But usually I look at the calendar to see what's going on, like when the city councilor meeting is, what, you know, is happening. Just on my practical, you know, really quickly. That's why, you know, I said that to have a link, like if I see the city calendar and they say you know, Hispanic Heritage Month. I'm just gonna click on it, what's happening, what, you know.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, and that's a good point too. So I think, okay, so
And excuse me,
please go ahead.
I guess I was, when I didn't look in detail at the link that Dr. Garcia had sent. I did click on it and I did see a lot. Each month, there's quite a bit. So I'm just thinking, let's just say on average, there's 6 different things in a month. 3 different monthly themes plus 3 other things. We've now just added more. In a year, that's 72 links. Each of those, you know, events, or maybe we would only have to link the events that would be on the cultural heritage page. So then it would make it much easier. So in other words, if we're doing something for a particular month or festival, then you'd only have to link that to the cultural heritage page. So that actually then it wouldn't be an issue as much.
And correct me if I'm wrong too, I think a lot of Dr. Garcia, you're also talking about like a different thing too, just having on our website, on the city's website, a vehicle to go look at all the different cultures and learn a little about the different cultures of the various people that live in our community. So, you know, separate from the calendar, we're just talking about cultural education, right? So that's something that, you know, may not even be this subcommittee. It could be, but it, you know, we don't know. So, but I mean, I really love that idea. I think it's wonderful to be able to learn about that. But I think that would be, you know, for the purposes of today, maybe we concentrate on the calendar and the events, but I don't want to not have that other conversation, explore that further, whether it's with this subcommittee, a different one, the committee as a whole. I think it's a phenomenal idea. Does that sound right to everybody? Okay, I don't mean to sound like I'm rushing everybody through, but Janine, I'm thinking of you, how you're trying to corral all of us at the meeting when it's a committee of a whole. I'm like, okay, we have 15 minutes. So I just want to kind of maybe recap some of the things that we were talking about for the purposes of what our next steps will be for this subcommittee. So I think we're looking at how we're going to build up this calendar. Ruben, again, thank you for explaining what can be done and on the back end and the procedure of how things are approved with Clerk Melnick. That is incredibly helpful, and how anyone in the community or outside of the community can actually add a suggestion and then it has to be approved. So I think that that's wonderful. I guess we have to figure out, because I feel because we're all new, I worry about are always playing catch up. So we're catching up to International Women's Day in March, and because the committee as a whole only meets once a month. So, you know, maybe we can kind of pick off after, you know, Dr. Garcia responding to us about how we put something together, like, which is what I asked before, about how we at least try to see if there's anything specific we're missing. And then also, I think another thing we have to think about is identifying groups or organizations that we should include in the discussion. We know that it's us. We know that it's the city. It's the school department. I would argue it's the faith-based organizations. And, you know, Karu makes a great point about, you know, other things that are very important, like domestic violence awareness and, you know, and things like that, which are incredibly important. If there's any suggestions anyone has that I'm missing, you can let me know, or we can continue it in an email and then try to put them all together. But I think for the purposes of reporting back to the committee as a whole, maybe we explain. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Just one thought
Yes.
before we conclude and also present to the full commission is, because of the time constraint, does this subcommittee have any suggestions regarding the International Women's Day banner? Because it would be really helpful to, that's on Thursday night, for me or Kathy or Ruben to be able to email the person that would have to create that probably Friday morning to get it to a printer and have it up on Monday. Do we see it as just being text? Do we feel comfortable letting the person that handles this in the mayor's office, sort of use her own discretion? Do we want to see some different female figures depicted on it? I just think it might be helpful to get a little bit ahead of that, again, only because of the time factor.
No, that is great, Janine. Thank you. So I'm Googling it as you're talking, right? To see what images are coming up as I'm Googling it on my phone. And there's some great ones that are just graphics and they're kind of painted or hand-drawn figures of women that look differently, in every way. And it just says International Women's Day. I'm sure we could find, a quote or something. I mean, I think, we have to think about, it can't be too cluttered because it's going to be, across Broadway as you're driving through. And I guess maybe we should look at how Black History Month's banner looks. And, we want it to be as effective and get the point across because you're kind of looking at it quickly as you're going by, right? So if someone wants to provide some thoughts or guidelines, what I can do is send suggestions out and we can have discussions and then offer it to the committee as a whole. What do you all think?
We have to be careful unfortunately, we have to be careful doing that on email.
Sure.
I don't know if we have time right now for Ruben or Kathy or me to screen share, just Google images, because I've already done this, International Women's Day images. We might get a sense now of just what to present or leave it to the commission or leave it to Jackie with certain general guidelines. I'm just thinking we're not going to have much of a turnaround time. And to my opinion, my humble opinion is it's more important for that to be up on Monday, March 8th than for us to get caught up in bogged down in not having it up because we're trying to get like the perfect thing.
So, Dr. Garcia, you are muted.
No, I think Karu wanted to say something.
Oh, sorry, Karu, go ahead.
So, I mean, is it possible, since it's time limited, is it possible that the subcommittee making a suggestion and then the mayor's office can pick, whatever kind of banner that represent the community, and then they can just print it so that it's kind of eliminating the time frame, right? And if they want to run it by us, they can send the picture or the banner, and then we can say yay or nay, right?
Ruben, are you there?
I don't know if we can.
Yeah, that's violation of the open meeting law, I think.
Sorry,
Right.
can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
Kathy, go ahead. I don't want to step in.
No, please, no, please don't worry about it. I think Karu would ask, like, could we give some suggestions and then the city come back almost with a proof and we could approve it? But I don't think that we can based on open meeting laws, correct?
The subcommittee can't. Yeah, that's a little complicated. A couple of members of the committee, we can do it, but not the whole subcommittee together.
Less than a quorum, so it could go out to one or two, or you as the chair and someone you might appoint to give input. I think it would be a great idea if we could come up with something to present at the March 4th meeting to say, it just like I can put it on the screen. This is what the subcommittee, this is an idea. Do you approve, yes or no? And then that's what I was saying. I don't know if it's worth to take 5 minutes to even just look at, is there, like, we might all just say any of those are fine, or I like the one with the pictures or whatever.
Right. And I think too, not having a date like 2021, just having the date of March 8th so that it can be reused and we're not using city resources, right?
Actually, Kathy, it changes every year.
It does, right?
So I think it might just have to not even have a date, just be, Women's International Day. International Women's Day. I don't know why I'm having trouble saying that in the right order.
It's been a long week, even though it's been a short week, right?
Always been March 8th, right? International Women's Day.
Okay, so
So yeah, but that's a good point because we do have some holidays that the date physically changes. So if
right.
we do have holidays that do that, I mean, it's always good not to have the calendar date, like the 2021 or the, the year. But if it is the same date, to use March 8th. If not, we can just say, or either way, we could just say celebrating International Women's Day. I
just pulled up okay. Can I screen share, Kathy?
please.
Okay, so I just pulled up, images for, like this is
Yeah, I have the same ones. Great.
simple or, like, again, no date, different, I mean, I don't know, but these are, unfortunately, I wish we can't do this on email.
So there is, see, I'm
All right,
pointing.
go ahead.
You're
Just speak
supposed to
up one, just tell me where to stop or just
Yeah.
unmute yourself.
So I love like that one on the top left that they're holding a banner, but I don't think that that will be visible enough. We need to have something that really says what it is. And then, you know what I mean? Like we need to have it that you really can see what it is.
Well, don't forget, Jackie in the mayor's office, she will create it probably herself. We just have to give her an idea. Like we could just say, the subcommittee, Kathy, you could get in touch with her. Ruben and I would give you her email. The subcommittee likes blah, 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 blah. Can you create something that we can present at the March 4th meeting? Unless, Ruben, does that sound accurate or do I have that wrong?
Yeah, I think one or two people being in touch with Jackie, just with and I don't think you want it. I mean, my opinion, if I may, provide it, is just Revere celebrates International Women's Day, and keep it as simple. And even that one in the top in the middle can be sort of a baseline concept, and then add that, and maybe have Kathy and one other person be in touch with Jackie just to make sure that you guys feel good about it, and then present that to the full committee on at the next meeting.
Could you scroll down a little bit?
I like that one. All right, scroll down.
Stop right there.
Okay.
So I like the image on the the image on the International Women's Conference, because they really, it's all inclusion. Everything I see here, I see a lot of inclusion here, which is good. But this one is a little bit. I like this one.
I like that
one on the bottom too.
Which
Yeah,
one?
at the bottom. Yeah.
This is interesting with the whale, with this one. Tell me which one.
So the one, Janine, the one you have the
cursor on.
I love that, but the one to the left of that has it says happy. You could do that, and it just says Revere celebrates instead of happy.
Yeah.
Revere celebrates, and then that could be the middle, and that's really lovely too.
What about Carew? Did you like that one, or did you like a different one?
Yeah. Well, I like the one that Kathy just said, and then the one on top of that Dr. Garcia said. I like those two as well.
Okay, so how does it sound, before I stop sharing my screen, if I can, download these and email them to Jackie and just say, obviously we're not going to say conference, it's going to say Revere celebrates, and tell her the subcommittee likes these. Can you create something? I'll copy you, Kathy, and just say, can you create something and submit it to Kathy? If everyone seems like they like that, so this might just be easy, that if it looks decent, we can even just take it to the full commission.
I think that's great. I think both of them are great. My one thing is the top one that said conference is actually drawings of famous women. I think I always say her name, Malala.
Maya Angelou?
No, Malala. she's on
Okay.
it, and then Frida Kahlo, I think, was on it. So
Yeah.
I guess, we can decide, like, that one on, on top that says International Women's Day Conference is, it looks like drawings of real famous women. The other one is more generic, that just
Yeah.
celebrates
Yeah.
her. So,
Janine, could you click on the International Women's Day Conference? That one? I want to see what's there. I think it will open up. It will.
thank you for sharing this, Janine. This is great.
That's okay. Can you
That feels
see?
nice, too.
So are those all famous people?
I would, you know what, though? I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it's just maybe, but I don't know.
I
It
don't.
may
I
not be.
don't. I don't know. I think when I look at it, it looks like you have an African American woman in the middle. To the left, I mean to the right. I'm seeing to the right. You may have no to the left. I think there is an Hindu or
Yeah,
Indian or
Mhm.
and then the other one to her left. It looks like European kind of woman. Then on the right, the one on the far right, that looks like a Latina woman.
And I
So-
excuse my ignorance, because I am such a Frida Kahlo fan that I immediately saw the flowers before you blew it up. So I apologize.
It could be. Who knows? I don't know. We're trying
No,
to
I think
guess.
you're right. I don't think it's anyone. I think it's just different representations of women.
May I just add in
And I'm just
another 2
gonna,
cents?
Just for the, I just wanna to also.
If it raises doubts, maybe we should not use it. But I
Let me try
thought
to
it was.
find that other one and blow that up. Where did that one go? No. This,
Back to the top.
okay, wait a minute, did you see it?
Hold
That
on.
other one?
I'm trying to find it.
Oh, no, it wasn't that, this one.
There
That
it is.
You know, what I like about this, like,
This one is diverse too. We could
yeah,
go with
this
this
one
one.
is quite diverse.
Mhm.
I really like that one. And you could just change it to Revere Celebrates International.
Yeah.
Women's Day. Ruben, were you going to say something too? I thought, I think I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, I just want to note, certainly we can't ask Jackie or anyone to take images. We have
Yeah.
to be aware of copyright type of thing. And so
Yeah.
keep something that's relatively, I think this might be a little easier to put together than a much more complex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for that, Ruben. I was thinking about
Mm.
that whole copyright piece. Karu, I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
I do like this one a lot.
Okay.
I mean, I'm okay with either or.
Okay.
Although there's more representation on this one.
Okay. Okay, do we feel like we've seen enough that I can just send Jackie any thoughts about something like that one with the hands that doesn't have oh,
I personally I think something that that's great. I just think, I don't know. I like
no,
seeing,
forget it, I don't like it.
yeah. And I think
Okay,
we could even give both thoughts to Jackie and see what she thinks. And then, we can put it before the committee of a whole.
yeah. So that's what I'll do is I'll send her the 2. I'll copy you, Kathy. This way you'll also have Jackie's email if you don't have it, and just let her use whatever her resources are to come up with something like that that says Revere Celebrates.
That's great. I think that's great. Karu and Dr. Garcia, are you both okay with that? Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
And then once she comes up with something, we'll send it to everybody, and then we'll put it before the whole committee, if that works.
Actually, if she comes up with something, Kathy, I think you can, if you feel that it's representative. We could just, bring it to on March 4th. If you want to have Carew or Dr. Garcia look at it, just to get another input, then we bring it to March 4th. And then
Sure.
we might just get approval, and she'll already have it done, which would be great, which would make it really easy to have it ready. And I apologize for jumping in on this. I'm purely thinking of the logistics of it, and City Hall's only open half a day on Friday, and then it's the weekend, so.
I appreciate it. And that's what we need. I need guidance, so I appreciate it. Okay, so if it's okay with everybody, because it is past 7, I just want to go to the next subject, which is the scheduling of next and subsequent committee meetings. I want to thank all of you for indulging me with the doodle poll. I think this is a subcommittee that we're going to have a few meetings with, so I don't know if we should think about doing it once a month. But what I can do is send another doodle poll to everybody, and then maybe see, like we do with the committee meetings, see if there's a day that works best for everyone, and then it's set on the schedule, and that we have these meetings. Does anyone have any thoughts about that, or?
That sounds perfect to me. Because I have a feeling this is a subcommittee that might even just be a long-term subcommittee. It may initially be monthly, and then it might be able to taper off. But I think
We have a lot of work to do as the committee of the whole, and I think in what we're tasked with doing in the subcommittee. So yeah. So what I'll do is I'm going to send an email to everyone, suggesting and maybe even saying, like, this date, which I think it's, what are we on, the 3rd Thursday of the month? Maybe, does this work for anyone? Does it absolutely not work for any of the subcommittee members? Because I mean, we know there's going to be some that some people can't make, but as long as we can try to get a quorum, actually not try, get a quorum, and sometimes not always have to include Janine. And thank you again, Chair Mara, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. So I'm going to send that out to everybody. And
Does it sound okay, Carew and Dr. Garcia? Does that seem reasonable? Oh.
yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hands up. Yes.
Carew's lip reading.
I know. I'm looking. Oh, you're on mute, Dr. Garcia. 'Cause I'm like, I got the yes, but now I don't know what you're saying.
Can you read my lips?
Carew can.
Okay, so we're good then. So is there anything else? I don't see that we have any public attendees that came. Is there anything else anyone would like to mention before I move for adjournment? No? All right, well, I want to thank you all very much for your time. Ruben, as always, thank you for your guidance. It is so much appreciated. Everyone's very busy. Greatly appreciate it. And could I entertain a motion to adjourn the subcommittee?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, everyone have a
All
wonderful
in favor.
weekend. All in favor, say aye. And thank you all so much, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Both.
Bye.
Thank you both.
Bye.
Thank you, Ruben.